Hello lovelies. Today I want to have a real and earnest talk with you about authenticity. You've seen that term around hundreds of times. You've seen people try to present it 1,000 different ways. Authentic is supposed to mean something real, genuine, less manufactured, something traditional even, something done the right way, something kosher, as we might say in slang. It's meant to mean something factual, accurate, and reliable. In internet terms, and in philosophy, it means an emotionally appropriate, honest, significant, purposeful, and responsible action or representation. You might see psychologists talk about it, and they talk about what is your authentic reaction. Someone does you wrong, you might be angry, which would be your authentic response, but your inauthentic response may be to project calm and acceptance and understanding while you're actually furious. It also means an unpretentious presentation of the self without artifice. So you can see the irony of me talking about it on a Pretentious Waffle episode, which is all about the kind of painful self-awareness of things and deliberately being pretentious in terms of trying to be very, very clever about things and to project that cleverness while being uncomfortable with it. Beyond all of that, it is also a little marketing spell designed to make you believe that you're about to get something different, something raw, something honest, something genuine. A lot of people aim for that when it comes to advertising reads for sponsors on their YouTube channels, and yet it always comes across badly. It's comforting, in a way. We want to believe that there's still some corner of reality that hasn't been sanded smooth by brand managers, PR consultants, and so on. But that's the exact aim of those same brand managers and PR consultants. They want to tap in to that authenticity.
Oh, like how we built that snowman together in that new ad? Remember how alive with pleasure they said we were?
But the second you point a camera at something, it changes. A weird social version of the observer effect. And the second you package it for public consumption, it stops being real or authentic, even if that's your aim. Even or especially when that's your aim. It's presentation, it's theatre, it is artifice. It's already another mask and not the target you were aiming for. You can't help but miss when you aim for authenticity, because if you're trying to achieve it, it's automatically inauthentic. And yeah, part of my brand here and elsewhere online is meant to be authenticity, but yeah, it is yet another mask. We all have masks. We're different people with our lovers than we are with our family, at school, at work, or with our friends, out in public alone or otherwise, at a convention, on the London Underground. I made a conscious decision quite some years ago now to more deeply embrace my tendencies when it comes to style and so on, and to dial it up to 11. I was deeply disappointed meeting many of my RPG industry heroes, and almost all of them turning out to be essentially carbon copies of the same guy in cargo shorts, and not the visionary creatives that they seemed to be from their writing or even their bio photos that appeared in their books. They felt inauthentic to me when I met them because they weren't presenting in person the way that they presented themselves in their work. Which one was actually authentic? We'll never know. But since then, dressing this way, presenting this way, has become second nature to me. It was also an excuse to embrace my style even more. So is it now authentic or inauthentic? It was a conscious decision to embrace it. Does that make it inauthentic? uninfluenced, would I have done the same thing? Can the authentic become the inauthentic, or vice versa? Is fake it till you make it a real thing once you make it? Food for thought. But what does authentic really even mean now in reference to internet culture particularly? I mean, we gave definitions earlier, crudely. All school reports stereotypically start with a dictionary definition, and that's another artifice, another inauthentic presentation, a shortcut we can use in media. But it is worth a deeper look. Once upon a time, authenticity meant truth. Now it's more of a feeling, a vibe, like putting the word rustic on an overpriced loaf of bread that's semi-wonky because they deliberately make it semi-wonky, or the hashtag no filter on Instagram. People telling you that they don't have any makeup on, or that they've gone for a natural look, regardless what the truth actually is. Take YouTube vlogs. There are entire subgenres of I just woke up with my thoughts videos, shot in bed, hair a mess. But notice that the tripod is in perfect position, the mug of tea is in frame, and the mess in the background is suspiciously photogenic, and usually doesn't include a well-worn dildo looming from a bookshelf with googly eyes stuck on its helmet. And then there are Twitch streamers who accidentally leave the mic live during a private moment, only to later admit that it was scripted so that they could seem to be more intimate and revealing to their audience. So authenticity, as a term, is no longer really truth, it's truthiness. It's not the truth itself, it is the feeling that something is true. Enough signs and symbols of honesty to feel genuine without the dangers of actual vulnerability or revelation. I mean, if this video was genuinely authentic, I wouldn't have a bullet point plan sitting on my screen that I'm referring to. Sure, I'm riffing off that here and there, but I have an outline, because otherwise I would ramble for hours, lose points somewhere in the conversation, and you'd probably click off after about 30 seconds. So I'm trying to keep it tight and failing. So honesty and authenticity is now performance. The YouTube personality who doesn't actually do anything edgy, or if they're a news person, doesn't really put any real effort into their reporting, they just read AP articles. But they spend an awful lot of time telling you how they're edgy, dangerous, independent, honest, and how everyone else isn't, even while all they're doing is reading someone else's work. Honesty now comes with its own set of stage direction and code. Yeah, a deep sigh before delivering hard truths. The shaky voice that peaks perfectly at the emotional climax. The tears. The unguarded close-up shot that just happens to be from the good side. And old media is not much better, really. Documentaries are just as guilty. Tiger King presented itself as an unfiltered peek into eccentric lives, but was structured like prestige TV with plot beats and cliffhangers. Reality TV is anything but, even Critical Role is scripted to an extent. And none of this is actually very new, it's just perhaps that we're more aware of it. Civil War photographers moved corpses around for better shots. The pictures felt candid, but they were set-dressed. In other wars, especially since Vietnam, what's censored and omitted is as much part of the message as what isn't. In Gaza, we're in a situation where neither party is entirely trustworthy, and both constantly and consistently lie, which gives people on both sides of that conflict reasons to ignore anything they hear about the other side of that conflict, and which no doubt is perpetuating horrors. Back in the early web before YouTube, authenticity was more accidental. Strong bad emails, pixelated webcam rants, and who even knows how they got up there anywhere. Chris Crocker's Leave Britney Alone. They weren't aiming for virality. Virality didn't really exist yet. These examples built it. It emerged more organically back then. Now, imperfections are themselves manufactured. Instagram adds fake film grain, if you ask it to, on a digital medium. Influencers stage messy kitchen shots. Unexpected kid or cat interruptions on Zoom calls can be rehearsed. It's the same logic as pre-ripped jeans. Buy the illusion of wear and tear because actual wear and tear is risky and unphotogenic. Like Zoolander coal mining. And yeah, I know I'm curating which examples I use here, and some of them aren't entirely apposite. That's not because they're the most authentic, it's because they fit the point that I'm trying to make. So, you see, there's no escape. Authenticity eats itself when it's not being eaten by marketing and capitalism. When something feels real, capitalism swallows it whole, commodifies it, and shits it back out. Mukbang started as a genuine series of unedited Korean live streams of people eating. Now it's lit like a cooking show with staged plates of food, ridiculous amounts of food or variety of food, and choreographed bites and ASMR nom 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 noises. The found footage boom after the Blair Witch Project worked because people believed it might be real. But then the sequels and imitators gradually lost that meticulously staged shaky cam, and so on, until the idea of found footage became just another veneer and style, another form of artifice you could pick off the rack. Now that's not new either. 18th century portraits of nobles relaxing took hours to stage. Relaxation, it turns out, is pretty exhausting. Even I'm using examples, for the most part, that have name recognition, so that you'll understand what I'm talking about and nod along, rather than clicking off the video to find out more about something I say that you've never heard of. You know, I want you to stay engaged, not wander off to Google obscure 1920s street photography. God help us. And the audience is in on it. We often know when something is staged, in our heart of hearts, but we go along with it because reality in pure form is boring. We want it shaped into narrative, the way people naturally do with gossip or rumour, building it up and up until it's more satisfying. It's why actual play streams and podcasts can't compete with Critical Role. It's why Twitch rage quits work, whether or not they're real. Vlog confessions still land even when the lighting is suspiciously cinematic, or we find out that they've done 3 takes. We've absorbed the tropes of authenticity the same way that we have absorbed the tropes of horror movies. Like, we know the jump scares are coming, but we want them anyway, and we anticipate them, and that anticipation can be delicious. Speaking of tropes, I know I've structured this video exactly like a sort of genre of YouTube video essay: opening hook, historical background, modern examples, philosophical reflection. That's not authentic, it's expected. It's the conventions of genre. And once you know that you're being observed, you change. Once there's a camera, you perform. Mrs. Grimm knows the difference between my normal voice, my phone voice, my recording voice, and my streaming voice. The only pure authenticity left is accidental hot mic moments, unscripted blunders. But even those often get packaged afterwards or cut out, and it is only the ones that are suitably dramatic that get repackaged and sent back out. Remember BBC Dad? Pure chaos, kids bursting into a live interview. Within hours, it was memes, brand tie-ins, and think pieces. Same with Charlie Bit My Finger. Honest sibling mischief sold years later as a fucking NFT. And here's me telling you about those examples with carefully placed pauses and emphasis so that they land with maximum weight. This is all scaffolding. Was it ever real? Probably not. Roman historians like Suetonius embellished freely. Shakespeare's histories were Tudor propaganda. Eusebius edited accounts to try and make them seem more supportive of the Christian religious historical narrative. Even World War II reporting was filtered by censors, so what was omitted was important. The golden age of truth, people think we've lost what we had, but that itself was a form of performance. So maybe authenticity is just another genre, another set of tropes, another brand, another style. It has its tropes: shaky footage, visible mistakes, unguarded expressions, stumbling over words, repeating yourself, stumbling over your words, repeating yourself. We don't want reality. We want curated reality, gritty enough to feel believable, dirty enough to feel believable, but polished enough to be comfortable, digestible. And maybe that's fine, so long as we know and understand it's an illusion. Maybe the real problems come in when people think the illusions are real, and know that even this very self-aware admission is part of the illusion. This has been a completely authentic, heartfelt, genuine discussion. So please like, subscribe and share this very real and authentic moment with your very real and authentic friends. Zang, which I deliberately adopted along with Hello Lovelies to create familiarity and channel identity. Bye.
Sure, you could play one of those hoity-toity horror games where the most horrifying thing that happens is someone wearing a corset who really shouldn't. Or you could grind a zombie's face into a belt sander.